Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Justin here with a new video for you. In this video, we'll learn about the Diclonius from the Elfen lead anime. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So let's get started. In the anime Elfen lead, some of the main protagonists and antagonists are Diclonius. But what exactly is a Diclonius? They're similar to humans, but with horns protruding from their heads akin to cat ears on a surface level. In this video, we'll be going into what makes Diclonai different from humans. Most of this information will be coming from the manga, due to the anime ending about halfway through the story and leaving a lot of stones unturned. Diclonius is a new species in the story, beings that are more enhanced than a human. While they look similar, they have many differences in appearance and abilities. The first noticeable difference between them is that a Diclonius has a pair of horns growing on their skull. These horns appear like cat ears and originally had the appearance of goat ears in the manga. Despite looking like ears, Diclonai have normal human ears as well. The horns are vital to a Diclonai's survival, and if one horn is broken off, they will go into a coma. If they lose both horns, they will never recover from that coma. The horns do eventually grow back, but it takes a while. The next noticeable difference between Diclonai and humans is their hair and eye color. In the anime, all Diclonai have some sort of reddish-pink hair and red eyes, while in the manga they have a variety of different colored hair and green eyes. Originally, Nana had purple hair with green eyes, and Mariko had blonde hair with green eyes, but they both gained pink hair and red eyes in the anime adaptation. This was most likely done to have the Diclonai stand out from humans. Their internal organs are unique as well. Humans have a very small pineal gland in the center of their brain, while Diclonai have very large pineal glands wedged against their frontal lobe. The pineal gland gives them a special ability, the ability to use vectors. Vectors give the Diclonai what seem to be telekinetic powers. In reality, they are invisible hands that can reach a few meters and have immense strength. The number of vectors and the maximum range for them depends on the individual. The Diclonius may have many vectors but little strength, or few vectors and immense strength. Using their vectors takes a toll on their bodies, however. It causes entropy, and, if used too many times, will cause their bodies to melt and die. If the Diclonius is in extreme pain, their vectors cannot be used, and they can also be repressed if their pineal gland is tampered with, turning them domesticated. They also have the ability to sense other Diclonai if they are around the same general area. Although there are a few outliers, most of the Diclonai have a repressed hatred for humanity. If not kept in check, their primal urges to kill surface and end in bloodshed. This hostility is most likely for survival and wanting to take over as the dominant race, along with being abused by humans as children. We will go into that bit later. In order to make humanity extinct and have the Diclonius race thrive, there are two types of Diclonai. They have a hierarchy similar to bees. The queen is a pure Diclonai that is capable of reproducing naturally, like humans. The only Queen Diclonius that is seen in the series is Lucy. Even though she is higher than other Diclonai, she has shorter vectors than others, but it's unknown if this is a personal trait or if all queens have short vectors. The queen also ages at the same rate as a human. The second, lower rank of Diclonius is the Silpolit, which are girls either born through humans or the queen herself. These girls are similar to worker bees, where they help the queen to have Diclonai reproduce, but they are unable to do it naturally. In order to spread their DNA, they use their vectors to touch humans and infect them with their virus. Any human that has a vector touch them at all has their DNA changed and will only bear Diclonius children. Using this method, eventually, all children born would be Diclonius and the human race would die out. Unlike the queen, Silpolit age at twice the rate of humans and often look a lot older than they actually are. Most Diclonai are female, but there are rare instances of males. The Kakuzawa family has traces of Diclonius DNA in them, but are not full blood, which causes Lucy to kill them when they want to breed with her. Towards the end of the manga, Lucy is shown to have a half-brother that is a full-blood Diclonius and meant to breed with her. She kills him immediately after meeting him out of pity. When Diclonai are infants, the only sign of them being a Diclonius is the horns on their heads. Their vectors generally aren't able to be manifested until around 3 years of age. A young Diclonius girl is seen having slaughtered her family for an unknown reason, and it is implied she had a tantrum. Lucy's vectors came out and killed everyone at her orphanage after they bullied her mercilessly and killed the puppy she found. In Mariko's case, she was extremely powerful and kept locked up in a lab her entire life. When she was finally able to come out, she used her vectors to kill the scientists that had been interacting with her the most. These events were extremely distressing and made the girls hold grudges to the humans around them. Most Diclonius girls who were found by the government were euthanized, but some were also tortured in secret. Let's go over what each of the notable girls' backstories are and how being a Diclonius affected them. Lucy, aka Kaede, was abandoned in the forest as an infant and taken in by an orphanage. Due to her having horns, she was bullied and felt isolated from the other children. She kept to herself and found a stray puppy that she secretly began feeding. After being attacked by her main bully, another girl stood up for her and said they could be friends. This girl found out about Lucy's puppy and told the main bully. Wanting to distress her more, the bully and his friends beat and killed the puppy in front of Lucy. This triggered her into having a psychotic breakdown and using her vectors to massacre everyone in the orphanage. She soon left and went from house to house, killing the inhabitants and staying in their homes until police caught up with her. She met a young boy named Kota who she was going to kill, but he said he liked her horns and wanted to be friends with her. They forged a friendship over the next few days and she became very attached to him. When he was going to a local festival, she asked if his cousin he was going with was a boy or a girl, and Kota lied, saying his cousin was a boy. Lucy ended up seeing him at the festival with his cousin, who was a girl. She felt betrayed by him and slaughtered the people at the festival, before killing Kota's dad and his little sister. It is unknown how she was captured, but she was eventually taken to a government lab where she was contained and experimented on. Nana was brought to the lab as an infant and experimented on from birth. Her experiments mostly consisted of projectiles being launched at her body to see how much pain she could withstand. She was a rare case due to being a natural pacifist and did not attempt to kill anyone who came near her. She imprinted onto one of the scientists, Dr. Kurama, and saw him as her father figure. Number 3 was a Diclonius who was brought to the lab as a toddler and experimented on. Kurama was involved in her case and was almost killed by her when she managed to escape. Her vectors touched him, causing him to be infected, but that wasn't a known fact at the time. When he and his wife became pregnant, they didn't know that the child would be born as a Diclonius. When Kurama found out about his child having horns, he attempted to kill her by strangling her. His wife died of cervical cancer, but her last request was for their child to live. Kurama was able to make that promise, but in exchange, the child was locked up and tested on. Kurama's daughter, Mariko, was a very small but powerful Diclonius. She had an extremely high amount of vectors, 26 in the anime and 50 in the manga, with a range of 11 meters or more. Because of this, she had to be locked up at all times. And when she was finally let out to hunt down Lucy, she immediately killed the scientist that had been her foster mother. The only way to keep her under control was to place remote bombs in her body. If she disobeyed, she would die. Due to Mariko being so powerful, multiple clones of her were created. Over 1,000 clones were created after her, but only 4 were able to be used. The other had severe defects and were used for their organs and to seek out other Diclonai. The 4 usable clones were named Alicia, Barbara, Cynthia, and Diana. They were raised and used by Professor Noso, who implanted mind control devices on them to keep them passive. They were supposedly completely obedient to him, but it is shown later that when the mind control device was taken off, they actually hated him and wanted to kill him. Despite Lucy dying at the end of the series, Nana was still alive and possibly other Diclonius girls as well. This means that even though Lucy was gone, the Diclonius virus could still make its way through humanity and become the master race. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in the story thus far. Hope you enjoyed it. Now there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, if you're in the mood for some storytelling, Anime Deep Dive is a relative to 2 other channels. Our main channel, We the Celestials, and their sister channel, We the Celestials Naruto What Ifs. Both of them retell the stories of My Hero Academia and Naruto with a twist. I'd like to let you all know on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. If you're perhaps interested in what we do here at WTC, then I would like to extend out an invitation to join the team. The only caveat being we only accept members 16 and older to join our crew. You can find us on Discord. which you can locate in the description below. Our Discord is an all-around fantastic place to be, whether you're a fan or looking to join our band of misfits. All you gotta do is hit up the recruitment server and sign up for whichever category of work that fulfills your interest. We're always looking for more members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching and have a great day.